Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
This is Charlie, right? Or did I just call some random?
Oh, you got it.
Perfect. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Um, just been starting a new job at EA, so been learning a lot recently.
Yeah, I saw that when I was going through the portfolios. I was like, "Oh, and you're in Tampa. Dude, it's crazy. I
Yeah,
don't get very many like US reviews in here, which is pretty cool. Would you
yeah,
uh would you like to introduce yourself just for everyone in chat?
sure. I'm an environment artist, and I'm from I'm from the US. I've posted a little bit in the different game art subs, but yeah, just recently got a gig at EA contract environment art, so I've kind of taken a break from the personal work for a little bit,
Yeah, it's
but
pretty normal.
I yeah, but I'm just looking for review on the stuff I've had so far as I just kind of go because I've just kind of been working on my personal work a lot over the past year, so I'm just like take a break and look at it in retrospect and
Mm,
figure out where to go from there.
nice. I guess the job that like, of course, you can't say what you're up to or which EA studio you're at, but like I'm noticing your portfolio, it's kind of stylized in the beginning, and then it becomes more realistic as you go forward, but then becomes this like the Cigar City Dead Drop is like kind of like a mix of like a it's like stylized but realistic at the same time.
Yeah, it is like the colors, especially in the background, are not natural for sure.
I mean, it's totally okay. I'm just curious, like it feels like you went from a very oh man, this one's super cool. I haven't clicked on these at all. Um, it's really interesting. It's from a concept as well.
It is, yeah.
Pull that up.
Sergei Vasev, he's really talented
It's nice being able to find find all these people and just like see what see what they make and get inspired by them, and just it pushes you like way further.
for sure.
Is it, do you have, so okay, so this is a year ago. Do you have anything that you want to say about this before we talk about it?
Um, I mean, this was a big step for me at the time because like I hadn't really sat down and made a something from concept before.
Hmm.
Um, I think looking back, like the first thing I see now is the planks in the foreground, and I'm like, those could be more detailed.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I think maybe it could be a little bit darker. Like I know I purposely made it a little bit lighter than the concept, but
Mm.
I think yeah, the volumetrics might have gotten a little too much.
Oh, right, just because of the lights being so bright, they like filled the
Yeah,
volumetric. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I look at the concept, I feel like the concept is missing the kind of brighter values. So I agree with your idea of like brightening it up a bit, like at least where the light sources are coming from.
yeah. The lighting is very different from the concept for sure.
I mean, it captures like I see what it is though, you know what I mean? And I think you're right that it is the volumetrics. Like if there's a way to like downplay how much the volumetrics are affected by the lighting, or like make the volume darker, because you can add colors to the volume, right?
Yeah,
I wonder if that would have been able to help you like push that stuff down. I mean, overall, I think it's pretty successful. Uh, the doors feel a little weak when you like. I mean, I know this is a year old, but I'll just comment on the things that I'm seeing with it. Um, but yeah, like the edge of the door feels like it's just like a cylinder, right?
mhm,
And then in
yeah,
here, I think it looks more like a almost like a wicker cap to a basket or something that's like shaped just large enough to rest on the doorway, and it just rests there, and that's what keeps it in place. But
definitely. It's it's like more in the door. Like the way I have it there, it's behind it almost.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you just get that edge to match the concept a little bit more, we'd understand more about like what it's made out of, because it looks like light penetrates through it, right?
Mhm.
But I mean, again, this is a year old. We're picking at like small stuff when it comes to like the rest of your portfolio. Because like the next one, I'm like, dude, this is crazy town. That's like an ant head with like a crazy like I don't even know how to explain it. It looks cool.
Yeah, that was the beginning of quarantine. I spent a lot of time like walking my dog and like staring at grass. That's where I
Oh
got the
man.
idea
We all dealt with it in our own way.
from.
The struggle. Oh yeah, you're even saying like the yeah, that's so funny. Quarantine, man, it was the real deal. So you worked on this project while you were doing the mentor coalition, shader
Yeah,
mentorship. Nice.
with Kurt, and that was so helpful. I couldn't recommend it more. He's a,
Yeah,
a wizard with Unreal stuff.
dude. I think the power of Unreal really comes in with the like. I mean, there's a lot of really good tools in there, but the shader complexity, like what you can do with a shader, is just it's crazy.
Yeah, it opened my eyes for sure.
Yeah, so you would say this was a big turning point in your understanding of like uh, just building materials and building up a scene using all those details.
Yeah, and like understanding beyond basic normal and color, also getting into the roughness and transmission and subsurface and all the other stuff too that pushes it further.
Yeah, I would say the nice thing about this scene, because there are a lot of like strange technical things that are happening,
Mm.
like how the grass color wise looks to the ground and where everything is feels quite soft. But I think the let me see here. I think the end result is quite interesting because like you had to solve so many things in your shaders that it was a perfect storm of like forcing shader understanding while doing a mentorship on it. Like that's like it's like the perfect storm.
Yeah,
But it was quite interesting.
I wish I could have absorbed like 100% of everything he said, but I think I got at least like a quarter of it. So
Mm. Yeah, it's really hard when the camera is like this low and things are of the scale that they are. I feel like these plants are kind of made up, right? Like they're like these shapes that are. Oh, go ahead.
they're based on like real weeds, but it's hard to extrapolate something so small to that
Yeah,
size.
yeah. I was gonna say it's like the scale makes it really weird, right? Are they
Mhm.
even fluttering a little bit? Like the little. It looks like they are the uh the little flowers that are on them or little
They are a
petals or
little
whatever.
bit.
Dude, that's crazy. That is super nice, man. It's just it's very alien, right? So it's hard to like where. Oh, there's other nests in the distance too. Super interesting. Oh, yeah, and you made all these materials. It looks like in Designer.
Mhm.
Yeah. See, I think when it comes to these, so you've got these three. Um, I don't even know what you would. They look like they're supposed to be clover type leaves. I don't recognize the shape of that. It's more like a flower to me, but they're green.
Mhm.
But the height of them, I guess in that case, I would see it as probably more beneficial. Let me see if I how they're being used. Because it'd probably be more beneficial. They're different heights, but maybe you pushed it into the ground enough that you never really notice how
Yeah, I
that
was
stuff
doing
is put
some
together.
stuff with the foliage paint, I think, to give um, that variation.
Oh right, are you talking about scaling the height of it in the
Y-
foliage painter?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you gave it a range that it could play with. Yeah, this I think yeah, I think this is where it's the strangest because I know that the hive, I mean, is like this. That's not how they are, but I don't
Yeah.
think that was the intention, right? You were making something crazy cool. When you see it in motion, it's awesome. But yeah, I was gonna say that the way that your plants are formed, or like how leaves are connected to it, I think if there was just a bit more attention to like how they're put together in real life, you would be able to get that kind of alien feel, um, even though they're correct. I guess it's like just the way that these are connected and seeing how they're connected in real life. Did you go and grab them and like look at them?
I did.
You get all weird and like sample the you're like literally pulling grass out while your dog is like peeing on the grass next to it. Like
Pretty much.
yeah, because I think when you look at it that close, that's when it starts to get kind of crazy. But understanding how everything is put together is pretty important. Dude, these things are like crazy. Kind of looks like amber. What was the idea with these?
Well, I guess I looked at a lot of reference. So like I really liked Kurt's stuff on Gears of War. So I
Mm-hmm.
was really inspired by like the Hive stuff and just kind of looking at and a lot of this I think the space opera challenge was going on. So I was looking at a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
like weird organic alien stuff, and that's kind of it is kind of like the amorphous organic glowy stuff.
yeah, yeah. It just drew your attention. Yeah, there's quite an interesting like approach to the way there's like a darkening Fresnel around the outside where
Yep.
it's something that's masking the emissive, so it has a little bit more like shell to it or like a volume. That's interesting.
Yeah, he showed me a cool way to like paint like I was vertex painting the AO channel to darken it in places.
Oh, interesting. So I guess you were using the AO in a way where it's not necessarily AO, but was controlling like the
Yeah, pretty much.
brightness of the emissive.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like faking how thick the surface was to like letting light through, almost. Yes, interesting. Dude, this head thing is creepy as all hell. Uh, I noticed these like the shells and the wings and stuff on the head. It's pretty interesting use of the shapes. It is, dude. The scene, like, honestly, is very busy, so it can be kind of hard to see stuff sometimes. And I don't know if that's like just because of the density of how the foliage is, or if like we just need to push the grass off to the right a little bit more to give it some more space. So it
Yeah,
is really busy, but yeah, go ahead.
yeah. No, I was saying it. That's a good point. It's a lot of noise on that side of the composition.
Oh, nice. Yeah, some debris to put on the ground. Oh, look at this. That felt good to make that work, didn't it?
Yeah, that took longer than you'd think.
Yeah, you're using RVT as well.
Hmm.
The RVT is weird, man, because it has to be set up in like multiple locations in order to work, right? So it's like, okay, did I do it right? And if it's not working, you don't know which part is failing.
Yeah, it was a hassle to debug, but got it working eventually.
Oh, here you go. Here's your yeah. So you're doing some technical breakdowns in here. So are you doing environments or props? I don't remember what you had said uh, with your new job. Is the
I'm doing
idea
environments like mostly world building. Um,
mm,
so
yeah, like a
I
level
guess not.
artist, I guess, in that
Yeah.
sense. Like yeah, I don't want to ask you too many questions. You might slip and fall somewhere.
No, no,
um,
that's fine.
but yeah, this is really interesting. Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of these elements just feel artificial in the way
Mhm.
that you had created them. Just because you can take these elements and instead of trying to like force substance designer to do it, it's just like take pictures of the stuff and clean it up in Photoshop. Or dude, me and ants go way back. I say that in the weirdest way possible. I was like obsessed with ants. I still watch an ant channel today on YouTube. Like,
Oh, Ants Canada.
yeah, dude.
Yep.
Dude, that guy's serious.
Yeah, he loves ants.
If for anyone in chat who doesn't know who that is, get on board, man, or get out. Ants Canada's amazing. No, this is cool though, man. It's an interesting scene that seems like it was perfect for your mentorship. It's just very stylized, and there's like key things that are breaking the overall image, but I think it's nice that you still finished it, and it looks like it looks like a scene. It doesn't look random. That's really hard to do, especially when you're doing stylized or like made up things.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks, man.
so okay, so we dove pretty deep into that one. I don't know how deep we'll go into this one. Oh yeah, this is cool. Oh wait a minute, is that a video of wireframe? What's happening here? Oh, I see what
It's
you're doing. Fancy. Yeah, this is cool because you're showing off like, so this is 5 months, and then this one was 8 months. So you're taking a lot of your learnings of shader work uh, to this, I assume.
Yep, that was the goal. There was pretty much like apply what I learned
Yeah.
or try to. I
So this
actually
is
used your
fan art as well. Yeah.
I used your decal, your what's it called, Edge decals on the stairs. That tutorial was very helpful.
Oh, on the edge here. Nice.
On
Yeah,
like yeah,
on the steps.
hmm
Let me see how you've got this kind of put together. Oh, dude, it's from this. Dang, you nailed that. That's pretty good, man. I think I think the only thing that it's kind of like so there's two things that are throwing me off a little bit. Uh dude, that's crazy. You like nailed that thumbnail.
nice.
Yeah, that brings back some memories of Magic from back in the day as well. So you'll see that the greens in this image are quite desaturated, and
hmm
they're more, maybe even more yellow. I think you maybe have the yellow in there, and it's just a matter of like lowering the green value a little bit to have the yellow come through a bit more. Um, are you familiar with like volumizing normals for like foliage?
No.
Because that's like, dude, that'll do wonders for your tree, for your trees and bushes and anything like that. So basically, you would like imagine like you're semi familiar with using ZBrush, right?
hmm
So well, I mean, it says ZBrush in here, so I assume so. Okay, so if you were to make like a blob shape that represents the volume of the tree, you can take that normal information and then transfer those normals to the geometry of the branches you'd built, and it'll get that volumed effect, and like the light will actually wrap around it in a more like natural way. You'll get it a lot like how you're seeing it here, where you have a highlight here, but behind it becomes darker, and then your subsurface is how you control how dark or light that shadowed side is. um and I
Oh, I
think,
gotta check that out.
yeah, you should. It's super useful for foliage, just because it makes it so much more volumized. Like it feels thicker, it feels denser, it feels like how you would expect a tree to feel. And when you use like when the ambient occlusion kicks in, it also like fills in the insides of it much more accurately. um, so you'll just get a much nicer end result. So if you did that, and then or look into that, and then the saturation of your greens is just, I think it's just in general it's just a little too saturated.
hmm
uh, and then let me see what else. The only other thing is the stairs, right? So you did the edge treatment to the stairs, but you'll notice that the stairs are kind of like they're blending together, so almost like a ramp, and the only way you don't know it's a ramp is how like shadows play along the edge of it. Let me see
Hmm.
what it looks like in the reference here. Yeah, in the reference in the concept you're going off of, it's pretty flat as well. Um, you could do like a uh, like where a step meets the. Hang on, let me see if I can. So like when a step, so you have a step come down. Like, oh man, this is, I can't draw right now. Uh, let's see here. Okay, so if you have a steps doing this, right? You have another one here and it goes up. There's this area in here. Let's see. Like, so if you have this area, if these spots either had some like buildup of leaves or twigs or just dirt, it doesn't have to be like really dirty or anything, just a value difference, you'll start to get
Hmm.
that separation. It's the same with the edges. Like you said, you're putting the decals on it, right? And
Hmm.
here, if you put uh, in that decal, if the decal is maybe a little bit lighter, you can start to highlight the edge a little bit more, and that'll help separate and give more depth to each step. And I think that could help with trying to separate it. It is, of course, something that you have to be careful with because it can tend to look really tiley or busy. So you have to be really careful where you do it. And you don't even have to do it on every step. If you did it in just a few spots, it helps bridge that gap of the illusion that's breaking currently. And then you're good to go.
That's a good idea. I like that.
This looks like you're using trim sheets, right? Yeah.
Yeah, this was kind of a trim sheet, I guess. That was my main um, thing I was trying to do
Mm.
with this one.
I think so. When I look at your materials here, I think where it's breaking the most is this your roughness?
Yeah.
Because I don't understand what the, because like, so this area here is quite dark, right? So is that
Hmm.
more reflective or like more, I guess more reflective? It's more less rough, so it's reacting to the light more like shiny, whereas this area is really diffused, like almost ash. Because I think
Yep.
ash is white and then black would be like diamond. So if you think about it like that, you can move those ranges around and kind of uh, bring it into more of like a unified sense. Uh, I don't know how else to describe that. I know that, like, for example, this area here, for the most part, is pretty accurate for a roughness view. Like, you'd add just some like differences in there just to kind of break it up, but like the contrast range in here is really extreme, and so you go from like polished marble almost to almost ash, but more like sand.
Mhm.
But yeah, and you can still have all that information. They just need to be closer together in value.
Yeah, I
And
think
then
like
yeah,
a levels on that could make it less extreme.
mm. And then you have this in, you do this in Unreal, because I'm seeing your normal map feels like it's flipped, but I can't tell if like it feels like your green channel's the wrong way, but I don't see it in here. That's really interesting to me. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. I think I
Yeah,
think
I'm
this
not
is
sure.
right. I think this is right, and what I'm asking for is like basically why is it like this? Because that's the difference with like when you grab this type of information. So we'll just hide this. So I'll grab this one and then we'll just dupe it over here. So like this guy, for example, the only difference between these two is one is a DirectX normal map and one is a OpenGL normal map. And all you're doing is flipping the green channel. You can flip, yeah, BTVR in chat is saying you could flip the green channel and the shader as well. The problem with doing that is that means that you have to flip the green channel every time you have a normal map. Whereas if you accidentally miss one or whatnot, uh, you'll get ones that are incorrect. So it's usually better to author it the right direction. But I don't know. I I always get this wrong. This is my problem. I think this is OpenGL and this is DirectX. But either way, that's why I usually see it's easier for me to read because like the green channel, the tops are highlighted, right? Like they're getting lit from above. And then like under the under shadow is darker. And that's how I see it when I look at normal maps. But when I see them this way, I'm like, I don't understand. I think it's wrong. But it depends on what engine you're using. If it's Unreal, it's DirectX, and if it's Unity, it's OpenGL, I believe. DirectX is right. Okay, cool. So maybe this is maybe it's flipped in the scene and we don't know it. But yeah, just side tangents. I wanted to look at like these three because you've specifically separated out your props from the scene. And I was curious why you had done that.
Yeah, well, originally I made the props not really thinking much about the scene. Like, I think
Hmm.
I made that, like, the whole idea for the scene kind of came from that prop. The prop was, like, I guess the original story that I was trying to tell.
Right. Oh, okay, I see. So then you're just like, oh yeah, now I've built this. I should build like I need a
Yeah,
light source to light it, and then you're like, I'm gonna build a scene around it.
I couldn't resist the urge.
Yeah. I get it, man. I get it. This is how scenes explode and become way bigger than we can achieve on our own. But yeah, Exile is saying in chat that there's some pretty dark values in here. I'm curious if you have like a do you have a render of it? No, you don't. Like an albedo only? Because I bet these blacks are like what they would call like PBR illegal dark or like PBR illegal black, where they just go outside of the range of physically accurate. How would I think if I take this, right, and we just blow this up. What you usually want to do, I'll just screenshot it and then bring it into Photoshop. Then I can draw on it better. Oh no, come on, just go back, please, please. No, you don't want to. Dude, this is great. Thanks, Photoshop. Look at I drop you and you don't. All right, you're gone. So, what I would usually do is say like, just do this, maybe like this, something like that. So if I combine these, I would say maybe more like this. Essentially, you want to stay inside of this range. Once you start to go, and this is a gray area, like you could probably go that dark. Oh yeah, there's a PBR material guide in chat as well. I'll just post that in your direct message thing. Yeah, so that just watching out for the like where those ranges go, because you can get too saturated or too dark, and too saturated, or just too bright and too dark. But yeah, let's see here. I'm gonna get to the rest of your. Oh man. Hang on here. There we go. Cool. Okay, so yeah, when it comes to the materials, I think where you're probably weakest right now, and it's probably the thing I would focus on as you go forward, is just your roughness. It's like understanding. So there's PBR and understanding PBR and the values and saturation, but like roughness is king in the PBR world. It's like it's either metal or it's not, and then it's like what's the surface telling you with roughness? And if we look at the street light here, this one's pretty interesting because I don't know, like, is this glass? Like these
I think they're
spheres here,
plastic.
are they
They're supposed to be
plastic?
plastic. Yeah.
Okay. But either way, right now they feel more like a marble or like whatever the stone is of this stuff here. because like you
Yeah.
want to expect for it to like reflect the be shinier, I guess, and just have the dirtiness that you you would expect. See, when they're lit, you're like, okay, is that lighting? Is that the texture? Like, how are you doing that?
That's an emissive.
It's an emissive. Is it in a Fresnel? So you're like
Yeah.
faking that it's on the inside?
Mhm.
Because what you probably want to do is like, I don't know if you could do it this way, but essentially you want to offset that light bulb so that it's a little higher up, and then it'll give you a more realistic effect. And then if you can find a way to like have like the the bug buildup that happens at the undersides of these, and like dust and dirt
Oh,
and stuff that
that'd be
shows in there,
sick.
dude, that would really push this. Because right now it looks like you've got the initial idea in, and you just need to like push the material further.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and because the bulb isn't like right in the middle of the orb; it's like closer to the top.
Yeah, it's more like, because you see it here. I think it's you do have the wire lower, so maybe it is centered up. Maybe they were actually thinking ahead. But I think it'll read a little bit more natural if there's some of that offset change to where the center of the light is. I mean, these do diffuse quite well, and they tend to just look like a big orb of light. Uh, and then it's just being like, okay, what's the surface look like? Is it a glass? Can you see inside of it? Because you did this type of detail, totally like make this clear and make the bulb actually do the lighting. So it looks, that's where the glow is coming from,
Mhm.
and I think it'll go a much further, much longer ways as far as convincing. You have the glass for the bulb, pretty accurate. Is this paint, or is this like it's like white paint on metal?
I think it's. I didn't really get a close enough reference of it. I
Hmm.
like. I'm sure it's probably transparent, but I didn't think to give it that.
Hmm. Madu's freaking out, man. Dog's barking. So the final scene with all of the props in place, you had done quite a good job of like balancing all of the elements together. The bulbs are quite bright and quite yellow, maybe even a little green. I can't. It might be my monitor. Maybe my monitor's jacked. Uh, but man, there's a lot of storytelling going on in here. The Cuban bread, that's great. What's
Delicious.
the deal with the? Is that a is that a rooster?
Yeah, it's in Ybor City. It's like the historic district of Tampa. There's just roosters walking around.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. I
Oh
think they're in New
man,
Orleans too.
that's great. These uh these trees though. Did you so where did these come from?
Those I made in the speed tree.
So you made these in Speed Tree. Did you have to bring in your own leaves and stuff, or did you already have?
I sculpted the palm leaves
Oh,
in
I see. Let
ZBrush.
me see if I scroll down. That's these are pretty good, man. I don't know how expensive they are, but these look pretty good. I guess it's when it comes to the like the I don't know what you call these like little extra. They're like what used to be the branches, and they like fall and die, but then the pieces left over. I don't know
Mhm.
what the nature is of how big that gets or how wide it becomes, but these look pretty cool to me. I like the variety of the trunks, the husks. Thanks, Ghost Detector. Yeah, like the leftovers of the branches, like the leaves after they die off. So are they? Is it pretty normal to see it this wide?
Yeah, they come in a lot of different forms, which is what I really wanted to nail with the making it in speed tree because you get so much like you can really get different iterations quickly.
Yeah, I get that variety. I mean, it's really good that you have that variety. I almost wonder if like you need this one because it's like you have these three types. You almost maybe don't even need. So it's like if I had to keep the count down, I would remove maybe these two because then you're like you've got the extreme one, you've got the one that's got some of it happening, and then the one that's pretty smooth. And the variety of the tops is quite high between the three. So then with those three, you could put those in here and no one would know the difference. And you would end up building less. That's like the magic number 3 when it comes to making assets. Usually like groups of 3 for kits is like the goal. For enough variety, but not too what is the enough variety, but not too many assets to build.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is cool though, man. I think the final, it's interesting that I think the final scene actually is better than these two. I think your portfolio will actually shine better if you remove these and just put them inside of this post. And I mean, the way they're presented in the post here, I think if you showed them the way you do here, it'll make your portfolio weaker. So literally, if you just hide these, you don't have to delete it. But like if you just hide these, your portfolio will increase in quality a bit. But
Okay.
yeah, when I
Cool.
look at this overall, I'm wondering like where it can go, like where you want to go. If you're doing realistic stuff, or like if you want to do stylized stuff that you're making up, and then it's just like focusing on your realistic and the PBR values and understanding roughness more. And like man, this scene's really interesting. Is there what's your, I guess now that you have this job, like what's your focus? Is it mainly work?
Yeah. I'm kind of making myself take a break from
Mm,
portfolio stuff, but I do have a scene that I just kind of have paused right now.
yeah.
It's gonna be like a crazy Warhammer inspired scene. So I think I'm because I mean I think I can say that not all this like EA is more realistic. So I just want to do something more crazy once I get back into it.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean I like doing PBR, but I also like doing more, I guess, less realistic subject matter, if that makes
Mm,
sense.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean that's totally fine. It's just pushing the quality and execution of it.
Yeah.
Both sides, I mean, you're gonna have to do that anyways, right? If you want to get better.
Mm.
But do you have any questions before we go? We're a little over time.
I mean, honestly, no, you gave me a lot of good stuff to work on and to think about. So this is awesome.
Cool. All right. I'll let you go then, and thanks for submitting your portfolio.
Yeah, sure thing, man.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, take care.